Jumping to the Bucks, this was a really hard one because anytime a team is just coming off a title and don't really change themselves, everybody sort of has a good feeling for who's good and who's not, who matters most. So this is probably the best player we're going to have on this list. I'm looking back to make sure. Yeah. And for me, it's Jrue Holiday. And I feel like that's also the hipster underrated pick just because, yeah, he's, regarded as one of the three best players on a title winner. But if you just kind of think about anytime you hear other NBA players say, you know who I love? The answer is always Jrue Holiday. Like Steph Curry has said, he guards him better than anybody. Like JJ Redick on his podcast never stops talking about how great Jrue Holiday is. So at some point, when everyone that has reason to know and has played with and against the guy keeps saying that, I don't know, it has to count for something. And backing away from that, just on what he does, he's played playoff series guarding Kevin Durant, and he's not a big guard. So he can do that. He face guarded Steph Curry the other night when the Bucks tried this weird, like sort of a box and one thing. It didn't work, but the fact that Holiday is the guy that they tasked to do that, and Curry had like 8 points and got up 7 shots. Like,
yeah,
that's
so first of all, that's Steph's MVP case in a nutshell. That you
right
through that, like Jrue Holiday was on that assignment. But anyway, please carry on.
And that he's willing to do that, because there's a lot of guys of Holiday's caliber, I think, that would be like, get out of here. Like, can't we just play this guy straight up because I'm this good? But sometimes you got to sacrifice. It totally didn't work. But just over the last couple of years, he's a 50-40 guy, 18, 6 and 5 ish. Like that's, and I guess most people would say that Middleton is clearly the number 2 player, but maybe it's not that clear on the Bucks. Holiday rates better by EPM and by, some other advanced metrics. It's at least a question. He's made 1 All-Star game in his whole career. And so I think maybe that, just to close it, is the best case for him being underrated, is that he should have been, if we're to believe all these other players that have said he's so great, if we are to believe our eyes and some of the numbers, like that's kind of nuts that he's made 1 All-Star game.
I have a Jrue Holiday stat for you that I think is, I feel like will successfully blow your mind. Are you ready?
I'm sitting down.
He has taken 100 step back jumpers this year. Exactly. His effective field goal percentage, combined 2-point and 3-point efficiency, is 70 on those. 70.
Dan, is that good?
That is
that good?
That is incredibly high. He's shooting better than 50% on step back threes this year, which account for they account for the majority of his step back jumpers in general. He probably should have been the second Buck to make the All. I love Khris Middleton. I would take a bullet for Khris Middleton, but he is, and I think people have talked about how they believe that Jrue Holiday slipped on defense. I just feel like not having Brook has not allowed Jrue Holiday to be as risky or take as many chances on defense as he might normally. And maybe that's why they were more inclined against the Warriors game to be like, well, you just take Steph Curry out of the game and we'll hope that works, even though it didn't. So whatever you want to say about that, but you also have to factor in the 2-way workload that he carries because of the assignments he's taking. So what if let's call him the third option on the Bucks. You're the number 3 option on the Bucks, who's just going to chase around the number 1, number 2 options on the other team for every single minute that you're on the court. And sometimes you're going to defend not 1s and 2s, but 3s and 4s. The beating this guy's body must have taken over the past 7 years, just ever since he arrived in New Orleans, essentially. I don't even know how he's still as good as he is, but I'm totally with you. I think their roster's so shallow that you can't reasonably pick anybody else anyway. Yeah. Maybe
you want to make a case for Jordan Nwora?
I wish I had Jordan Nwora's confidence. That's aspirational. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But maybe Brook Lopez, by virtue of how much the defense has suffered in his absence until he did recently return. So he's probably the right pick, even though he's higher profile.
Yeah. You know what would happen if you tried to take a bullet for Khris Middleton?
He'd stop it.
Jrue Holiday would jump in front of it because he's that kind of guy.
Love Jrue Holiday.